Hello children, welcome to the digital classes. Children, I am here with a new topic and I know that you are really excited to go with a new session. Children, as we have learned that food, water, air and shelter are important for all of us. So just look at the video here and enjoy. Children, did you visit any of the places like this? How do you feel when you visit such places? You will be happy, right children? Yes, this is the water which is flowing over the dam. So you will be very happy. Look at here. During the rainy season, most of the places you can see the rivers will be overflowing, gates of the dams will be open and the children and the people all around will enjoy. Isn't it children? And look at this. Yeah, so excited to look at this water bodies. Right children? Just look at here children. What do you see here? You see this is the canal and this is the river. Do you like to visit such places? Yes, we all like to visit such places and we'll take some of the photos and we go there for the sake of enjoyment. Right children? Now look at here. What is this? This is the seashore. How beautiful the place is. Isn't it? We really enjoy. We go the weekends or sometimes during the holidays we spend our holidays and we will enjoy such places. Yeah, it's a hill station and we are very fond of going to hill station. Right children? Children, just have a look at this picture. Do you like to go to such places? Do you enjoy a place here? No, we cannot enjoy at such places. Why? What has happened to this water? This is the waste water. From where does the water has come here? It has come from the houses. That is, the used water is let out of the houses and this water is stagnant. Do we like to visit such places children? No, we don't like to visit such places. As moreover, at such places you see mosquitoes, houseflies and other insects grows there and they will be spreading the diseases. Isn't it children? So, the stagnant water in the nearby colonies or the streets causes health effects. Right children? So, this is what we are learning here in the present chapter, that is water too little to waste. What does it mean children? Water is very little, we shouldn't waste. That means on the globe, on the earth, we find less amount of water. That is what we will try to study here. If we look at the availability of water on earth, we have water. This is the total water which is present on the earth. So, out of the total water, 97% of the water is present in the oceans and the seas. So, which is salty and which is not suitable for drinking purpose. Then what about the 2% of water? This is the 2% of the water which is present in the form of ice, in the form of glaciers. Then only 1% of the water is present on the earth which is used by all of us. So that is what we look at here. Look at this ocean children. This is the ocean or this is the seashore where you see large amount of water. This is the salt water. Here it contains high salinity, so it is not good for drinking and even very few animal species are found in the ocean. So, how much amount it constitutes? It constitutes to 97% of the water available on the earth. Am I clear children? Now, look at here. What do you see here? This is the glacier. Glacier means the water which is in the ice form. Here you see the solid ice. That means most of the water is frozen. Where do you find such type of frozen water children? We will be finding them at the hill stations, in the polar regions we find such type of glaciers, and the glaciers forms around 2% of the water which is present on the earth. Just look at here, these are some of the ice caps where you see most of the hills are covered with this ice caps, and this also the amount of water which is fresh, but we cannot utilize this water as it is in the solid state, that is in the ice form. So we cannot use this water. Children, as we have seen that most of the water which is present on the earth is not useful for the consumption purpose, and we cannot use this water for the domestic use also. Then what are the other sources of water which are providing water for the consumption? We will try to look here. Some of the sources of water which comes to how much percentage, children? Yes, it comes to 1% of the availability of water on the earth, that is the water from the river. You can see the river water is flowing. This is the fresh water. This water is used by the animals for the drinking purpose, and even human beings utilize this water for the domestic activities and even for the drinking purpose. Now you can look at here, what is this? Yes, this is a lake. Around the lake you can see some of the restaurants and the hotels you see, and you can see a park where the people come during the holidays or during their vacation time, and they will enjoy the place. Now look at here, children, some other water bodies which are present on the earth are, this is a pond in which the water is stored, where you see large number of plants, and sometimes you see some of the animals come here to drink water. So children, we have looked at the various sources of water, of which only the river water, water from the pond and the lakes are used for the consumption purposes. Right, children? What happens? Availability of water goes down. That is, if the water level or the ground level decreases, there will be a serious problem. Just try to look here. Yes, we can say water is precious. You look at a bird, how it is trying hard to fetch few drops of water. Isn't it difficult, children? And we see most of the birds and the animals dying in the world due to lack of water. With this we can say water is precious. So children, we need to try to conserve water. So what else could be a sorrow on the earth, children? How difficulty you see the birds are trying hard to quench the thirst, and you can look at a cat, how hard it is trying to drink few drops of water. So don't you feel that it is a sorrow on earth, children? Yes. Now this is what the problem faced by the birds as well as the animals. If there is no water for many days, that means if the rain doesn't come for many years, what happens? You can look at here. This is the dry land where you don't find a bit of water. So we call such condition as drought. So what is drought? When there is no rain for many years, we call it as drought. So what happens when drought occurs? Scarcity of water occurs. So if the scarcity of water occurs, what happens? If the scarcity of water occurs, the land is not suitable for the growth of crops, or it is not useful. The water is not where you cannot see any trees and you will not find the food. Just try to look at the close picture here. This is the close picture of the soil. Now you see the soil has become completely dry and we don't find any humidity here. So this soil is not suitable for the growth of cultivating crops. So agriculture and cultivation becomes difficult with such type of dry soil. So what we can understand from this? We can say we need to conserve water. We need to take necessary steps so that the soil can retain water and the birds and animals get water. Am I clear, children? Children, generally in our houses we practice the uses of water. We use water for various purposes. We have to use water for our need. We must not use the excessive use of water. We will try to find out what are the excessive uses of water here. Look at here children, washing vegetables. So during washing the vegetables, we are keeping the tap open and we are continuously wasting the water. Don't you think so children? Yes. And you can look at here the laundry. In the washing machine also more amount of water is used. In the sense more amount of water is getting wasted. Here you see bathing and sometimes you see cleaning of the vessels. During cleaning what we do? We keep the tap open. Sometimes before cleaning or even after the cleaning also we leave the taps open. And during bath what do? We open the showers and we let the water go out and we'll be wasting more amount of water. So these are some of the practices where we are using excessive use of water. What the man is trying? Yeah, he is servicing his car. So what is he doing? He is opening the tap and he is letting the water to go out continuously and he is leaving the water like that. So with this what we can say, more amount of water is released from the houses and even at the sometimes from the industries and even from the factories you see more amount of water is let out. Is it a good water children? No, it is not a good water because once the water is used it becomes waste water. Now after using the water what we do? Now look at the bathrooms and the toilets. The water which is let out from the bathrooms is collected through the pipes, isn't it children? Children, do you have such piping system in your house? Yes. So the water from the kitchens and water from the bathrooms and the toilets will be collected from the pipes and they will be let into the drainage. So we call it as a drainage system. So what type of water is flowing through these tubes children? Yes, it is a waste water. So we can call it as sewage. What we call it as? We call it as sewage. So we will try to define what is sewage here. All the waste water released by homes, industries, hospitals, offices and other users are collectively called as sewage. That means to say, we can say that most amount of water which is coming out of the houses or even from the hospitals after use or sometimes from the offices or cinema theaters or any other restaurants you see where we are using the water and we are leaving the water out. So what we call that used water as? We can call it as waste water or it is also called as sewage. What is a sewage? Sewage is a liquid waste. Sewage is a liquid waste. Most of it is water. So some amount of waste particles are present. Those waste particles are dissolved and suspended. Impurities are found in that water. What happened to that water? They also contain some of the germs. Disease causing bacteria and other microbes are found in that waste water. So you can see children, after washing or after cleaning and sometimes we use some of the soaps we use detergents, we use shampoos. So all that water will be dissolved in the water and it will be let out in the form of sewage, isn't it children? And we also see the disease causing bacteria. What does it mean? Someone vomits or sometimes some people get diseases. They get typhoid or they get some other diseases. So when they take bath or when they flush the toilet or when they do their daily activities, what happens? Those bacteria and those germs are let out into the bathrooms and so that is nothing but a type of contaminant. So these impurities are called as contaminants. should we leave the sewage water like that on the roads, or it has to be treated properly, or what we have to do with the sewage water, we will try to learn here. Through this canal you see the waste water is flowing, and you can see some papers, some cloths and some waste material, bottles, etc. are let into this water. Do you think it is a good to leave water like this? No, it is not good. What happens? We get different diseases and we get infections. So we will try to classify the impurities, organic impurities. So organic impurities means animal waste, human feces, oils, urea. So these are the oils which we use, coconut oil or the oils for moisturizers. All this we can call it as oils. Urea is a chemical used for the growing of crops, and we see some of the pesticides. These chemicals are used by the farmer for killing the pesticides, and sometimes they use herbicides also. And sometimes we peel out the fruits and the waste from the fruits and even the vegetable waste, etc. are let into the open sewage. So what happens if this is let into the open sewage? That's what we will learn here. Some of the other impurities we will try to see here. The inorganic impurities. So we also the sewage water contains certain amount of nitrates and certain amounts of phosphates and some other metals. Metals like aluminium, zinc, iron. So those metals are also present in the sewage water. We also find bacteria and other microbes, like from the hospitals you see different types of patients. The people who are suffering from cholera, typhoid, dysentery or any other diseases. So these organisms, these bacteria which are responsible for such type of diseases are also carried in the sewage water. So what we should do, children? Now these impurities which are present in the sewage water, what happens if we leave this water into the water bodies or if we leave them onto the roads? They causes different infections and sometimes they causes serious illness. So we have to treat this water before leaving onto the roads or before leaving into the water bodies. So government is taking necessary steps to treat this sewage water. So here we have some of the steps. Just look at here. So here this is the entire sewage water treatment plant which you see here. Here we have various stages. At the primary stage we will separate the waste material, and we also have the secondary stage. From that water sludge will be separated. So we will study this in details here. The sewage treatment plant, children, you see the different types of tanks here. So in the first step, what is done? The bar screens are provided. You can just look at the screens which are here, children. Can you look at here? Yes, through this screen, this sewage water is allowed to flow. What happens when the water is flowing through this? The bags or the rugs or the wastage, animal waste or the human waste or the twigs, plant parts or the leaves or the fruits waste, etc. will be separated here itself. You can see when the water is flowing, all the waste is collected here and only upper part of the water is allowed into this. So you can just notice. Now in the second step, what will be done? This sewage water is let into the sedimentation tank. So it is the tank where the sedimentation takes place. So what will be sedimenting here? As we said, the water contains different types of impurities. That is the hard particles or the solid particles, sometimes the sand or some small gravels, stones, whatever is present in the sewage will be separated here. In this tank, this sewage will be allowed to settle for some time. So what happens? The solid particle will settle down to the bottom of the tank. Now here you can just look at how the solid like fecuses. You see what is fecus, children? Fecus is the excreta, human excreta or animal excreta settling at the bottom of this tank. And you can also notice here the scrapers are present. These scrapers will remove the froth forming on top of this tank, will be removed with the help of scrapers. Now what happens? Now the solid waste is separated. So the solid waste is called as sludge, and the liquid which is present on top of the sewage is nothing but clarified water. So this is a tank where sludge and clarified water are separated. So children, this is how you can notice the difference. This is the clarified water, and at the center you see the sludge which is present here. Very closely you can look at the sludge, children. What is happening in the sludge? In this sludge, anaerobic bacteria is allowed. So aeration will be taking place here. So when the aeration will take place here, anaerobic bacteria grows, and here the large number of anaerobic bacteria work on this organic and inorganic impurities, and they will be decomposing these impurities. So you can just hear a series of tanks you can see where sludge is transferred. So sludge is decomposed here in these tanks by which bacteria? Anaerobic bacteria. Here this bacteria work in the absence of oxygen. That is why it is called as anaerobic bacteria. Look at here, the sludge is sent into an open tank. Now you can just see after evaporation, the sludge will be collected and will be supplied to the field as manure. Children, you know what is a manure? This we can call it as biofertilizer. So this fertilizer will help the growth of this plant. So this will be supplied. You can just see a farmer who is supplying the manure to the field, and this manure is allowing the growth of the crop. Now what happened to the clarified water? Clarified water which is separated from the sewage, which is treated, sometimes this clarified water will be treated with chlorine gas so that the microbes which are present in the sewage water gets killed. And this clarified water release into the water bodies. That means it will be sent into the rivers, ponds and lakes. Just you can see here how the clarified water is let into the pond here. What happens to this clarified water? This goes into the pond where further putrefaction will be taken up by the nature. Look at here how the clarified water is let into the water bodies. So this is the clarified water which is let out, and this clarified water will reaches the rivers or ocean or sometime seas where the nature will take care of this water. So what we can understand from this? So the waste water should not be let out onto the road without treatment. Waste water should not be let out without treating. They has to be collected properly, and they have to be transported properly, and they should be treated before leaving them into the rivers or ocean. So how do we do the collection? For the collecting, we have an effective system. We call it as drainage system. Children, did you look any drainage system anytime? We see such type of drainages systems on the road. When you walk on the road, you will be seeing such type of drainage system. Yes. What are this? This is the sewage collecting done by the government. Here we have two types of collecting, children. One is the closed type, the other one is open type. It is in the cities or in the urban areas, it is difficult and it is dangerous to have such type of open system. So we will be following closed type of sewage so that the waste water or the sewage water can be collected through the gutter system, that is the drainage system. And you see in the villages or in the rural areas, through this canal the sewage water is sent to the sewage treatment plants. Look at here, through the pipes the sewage water is sent to the waste treatment plant. Here it will be treated in a different ways. In the primary treatment will take place and the secondary treatment, and finally the water will be releasing to the environment, that is to the water is let into the river or sometimes to the ponds or lakes. And we also collected the solid waste and we call it as sludge, and this sludge is suitable for growing of crops and we send it to the crops as fertilizer. Children, I think I am clear how to treat the sewage water. Then what contribution we can do? We need to have some good practice. We will try to look here. In the backyard of the house, we can construct a septic tank. You can look at here, this is a septic tank. These people have constructed the septic tank so that this water, the sewage water which is collected from the bathrooms and the kitchens can be collected and sent into this septic tank. Now after collecting, what happens? Just look at here. Yes, this is a septic tank where the sewage water is collected. After a period of time, this septic tank get filled up. When it filled up, what happens? Septic tank will come to our houses. What we have to do? We have to call them and these people will come to our houses and they will be emptying this septic tank. The municipality person, he has come here to clear this septic tank. This wastage is taken to the wastage treatment plant where it is treated properly. Children, what happens if this water is not treated here? If the water is not treated properly, this water will let into the colonies. Look here. So here you see, this is the colony where the sewage water is let here directly from the toilets and the kitchen, and you see large number of insects, mosquitoes are growing here. Look at here how dirty the place is and it is not good also, and we get foul smell, we feel uncomfortable and there is a possibility of growing of diseases. There you see large number of insects growing and the mosquitoes growing. So what happens? Thereby they will be getting diseases like typhoid, malaria, diarrhea and cholera. So I think I am clear with this, children. So we try to analyze this sewage water analysis here. In India, an estimation of 62,000 million liters per day sewage is generated in urban areas. More than 62,000 million liters of sewage is collected. So this much amount of water is collected, but only 23,000 million liters is treated properly. So that means to say only 30% of the sewage water is treated and 70% of the sewage water which is generated in urban India is not treated properly, and this water may leads to various diseases, and that is why most of the people are suffering with infectious diseases. So we need to make our own contribution so that the sewage water can be treated properly. Children, I think I am clear with the concept. So shall we recall what have we learned here? Only 1% of all water resources is available as fresh water, and all wastewater released at homes, hospitals, offices are collectively called as sewage, and this sewage water contains inorganic impurities, organic impurities and some bacterial contaminants. Wastewater is treated in treatment plant. We also learned that septic tanks also helps in wastewater disposal. What else we learned? Water should be treated before releasing into water bodies. So what we must do? We must make efforts to conserve water and we must try to make efforts to treat the sewage water. Am I clear, children? So shall I give a homework here? So children, here I have some of the questions. Try to answer this question and improve your learning. What is sewage? Describe the steps involved in getting clarified water from wastewater. Now you try to explain the relationship between sanitation and disease. What is your role as an active citizen in relation to sanitation? Children, please take down these questions and try to answer this question. If you have any doubts, please visit the official website of SCERT and solve the worksheets. Thank you.